Every empire has a secret economy. Every financial system, no matter how advanced, hides a shadow beneath it. A place where truth trades quietly, while the official world lies out loud. Because when money stops working, people don't wait for permission to survive. They build a second economy, one that doesn't need banks, laws, or central planners. It runs on the oldest currencies of all: need, trust, and gold. Economists rarely talk about it. But the black market isn't a bug in capitalism, it's capitalism stripped of its PR team. Mantelpiece clock, Weimar Germany, 1923. The German mark wasn't inflating, it was evaporating. A loaf of bread cost 250 marks in January, and 200 million by November. Families burned cash for heat because coal was more expensive. Children built castles out of banknotes. The government called it temporary. People called it survival. They stopped saving in marks and started saving in anything real. Gold. Silver. Foreign coins. Cigarettes. A gold wedding ring could feed a family for a week. Paper money became wallpaper, literally. When belief dies, the black market takes over. The same story repeated across war-torn Europe. Governments ration food and fuel in the name of fairness. But fairness doesn't survive scarcity. In occupied Paris, coffee was contraband. Sugar was a luxury. Penicillin was a miracle you could only buy with gold or favors. In the Warsaw Ghetto, smugglers risked death daily to bring bread. The state called them criminals. The starving called them essential workers. Because legality and morality never collapse at the same speed. By the Cold War, the system had learned to lie more efficiently. The Soviet Union claimed to have abolished markets. But everyone knew someone who could get things. Need a refrigerator? Pay in vodka. Need car parts? A carton of Marlboros will do. Blue jeans became currency, proof that Western freedom was worth more than socialist equality. Even the elites used the same networks. Party officials' wives wore French perfume smuggled through Finland. While preaching sacrifice for the proletariat. Communism didn't fail because it was poor. It failed because it had to pretend the black market didn't exist. Then came Latin America. Argentina, 2001, banks froze deposits overnight. People woke up broke. The blue dollar became the heartbeat of the country, traded in alleys, salons, and sidewalks. The official peso was a joke. The underground one was survival. Venezuela went further. Hyperinflation turned grotesque. People carried backpacks full of cash and still couldn't buy groceries. So they traded gold dust, yes, real gold dust, measured on kitchen scales. The government condemned it. Then quietly used the same system to fund itself. That's the irony. The louder a government condemns the black market, the more it relies on it. Because black markets don't just move goods. They keep the illusion of order alive. During World War II, Allied officers bought contraband fuel from the smugglers they were supposed to arrest. In post-war Italy, the mafia supply chains worked better than the governments. The underground has always been the emergency generator of civilization. And gold? Gold is the battery that powers it. Gold doesn't need belief. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't vanish in a crash or freeze under sanctions. 1 ounce in Berlin, Beirut, or Beijing means the same thing: autonomy. That's why every system that mocks gold ends up crawling back to it. Because when paper dies, gold survives. But let's go deeper. How does a black market actually begin? It starts small. A mechanic trades repairs for fuel. A pharmacist sells extra antibiotics off the books. Someone swaps cigarettes for sugar. Then networks form: brokers, smugglers, middlemen. Until one day the illegal economy becomes the only one that works. And it's brutally honest. Prices rise not by decree but by desperation. It's supply and demand with a gun in the room. Who profits? The ones with access, information, or courage. Who suffers? The ones still believing the official story. Every black market is a classroom. And its first lesson is cruel: trust is the most expensive currency. But shadows leave scars. Once a society learns to trade in darkness, it stops trusting daylight. Weimar Germany never trusted inflation again. That trauma shaped decades of fiscal obsession. The Soviet collapse bred a gangster economy. People had learned every law had a price. And in Latin America, entire generations learned to measure government honesty by the street price of the dollar. The black market doesn't just reflect collapse. It shapes what comes next. It creates a new kind of citizen. Skeptical, adaptive, fluent in survival. And that's the part Western audiences always miss. They think it can't happen here. But it already is, just with better marketing. When Canada froze bank accounts during protests, that was a polite version of capital control. When the EU introduced digital currency frameworks, they called it transparency. Translation: programmable money. Inflation was called temporary. Translation: permanent if you're poor. Control is being rebranded as convenience. Surveillance as security. Dependency as modernity. And just like every other empire before, the more control they seek, the faster the black market grows. Because you can outlaw trade, but you can't outlaw need. Today's black market doesn't live in alleys. It's online. Encrypted chats in Nigeria move dollars faster than banks. Peer-to-peer crypto swaps in Argentina. Offshore stablecoins in Southeast Asia. It's the same instinct as always. Build an economy that can't be frozen. People aren't rebelling. They're adapting. That's the quiet revolution of the 21st century. Sovereignty without permission. And while governments warn about financial crime, their own central banks are hoarding gold. They're not diversifying. They're hedging against themselves. Because every empire starts its black market with citizens. But it ends with elites. Once they realize their own system is fragile, they start playing by underground rules too. Studying black markets isn't about crime. It's about clarity. They reveal what every empire tries to hide. The moment trust disappears, the official economy measures control. The black market measures truth. And when those two lines cross, collapse isn't coming. It's already here. So ask yourself. If your government froze your money tomorrow, if your salary lost half its worth overnight, what would you trade with? Because that is your real economy. The world beneath the spreadsheet. And history's verdict never changes. The official money dies first. The black market follows. And gold. Gold never leaves. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers. I'll show you where to look.